he wanted to ask you, Dugas, why you love the Wyndham. Well, I guess I don't know how many Wyndham cards you have, but I think you have the Wyndham Earner Business. I'm
Just
not
the
sure
one.
what else. Oh, just that. And I think you talked about some vacation you were able to do with the Wyndham points and whatnot. So he just wanted to know why you love it so much.
Yeah, I've done 3 of them actually.
Hmm.
And it's interesting that I don't want to get too far off track. When we have a good experience, one good experience, it completely shades our view of redemption. Like, one time I did this great thing, that makes it the best card ever. And I admit that I'm biased. So the one that made it for me, so there is a company called Cottages.com. Cottages.com is basically the Vacasa in England. It's the United Kingdom's equivalent of Vacasa. So Wyndham partners with them. So yes, I have the Wyndham Earners Business Card. Because it gets like 8x on gas, 5x on utilities, it's really easy to rack up a lot of points, especially if you're willing to do gift card buying, whether that's manufactured spending or just strategically buying like Amazon cards, those kind of things, gas station cards, Home Depot cards, whatever. You can get a lot of points easily and quickly. They also, instead of a free night certificate, they give you points every year, and I can't remember offhand if it's 15,000 or 30,000. I think it's 15,000 points a year, which is more than enough to offset that $95 annual fee. So last summer I transferred, I don't remember the exact number. I'm thinking it was like 60,000-ish Wyndham points over to cottages.com and used that to book a cottage in Wales that was on a sheep farm, like looking out over the rolling hills of Wales. And it was like the most peaceful place I have ever been in my adult life. And I'm not exaggerating that, but like, other than nature, dead quiet. I mean, sometimes the farmer would start up his tractor, but other than that, like dead quiet, like meh, meh, moo, and it's like something out of The Sound of Music or something like that.
Oh my God.
The temperature was perfect. This was like middle of July. It was like, I don't know what it was Celsius, but Fahrenheit, it never got over like 68. The humidity is very low because, the United Kingdom is a big island. And it's just like, I could just sit on the balcony for like 5 weeks straight, but we only had 4 days in that cottage. So that's what Wyndham got me. And that was probably $2,000 worth of value for paying a $95 annual fee. The summer before that, we went to northern Wisconsin, got a Vacasa. This last fall, my boys and I went to central Wisconsin and got a log cabin there for a few days. So, I mean, you talk about outsized value. It's just, I don't know what, cents per point is kind of modest, anywhere from like 1.25 to 1.75 cents per point is not going to impress a lot of people, but it's just so easy to get the points that you can just, with hardly any effort, rack up this massive value.
That's really interesting to me. Well, for a couple of reasons, but the first thing I'm thinking of is, like you mentioned, well, of course, that overseas, the Wales one is pretty amazing. Just, I could imagine what that would look like, for you. But even just like you said in Wisconsin, like a log cabin that you were able to book. And I've wanted to do this, go stay in a log cabin somewhere with my, my wife and whatnot. But for the most part, you can't. I say can't because now I'm learning. Do that with points and miles. I have to book through Airbnb, something like that. But you're saying I can transfer it to this one company, and then so the Wyndham points transfer to the what was the name of it for the log cabins?
In America, it's Vacasa. Phil just put his comment. Vacasa. It's like vacation, and then the Spanish word casa for house. Vacasa. It's basically an Airbnb or a VRBO competitor. They have short-term rentals in many, not all states. Like my home state of Iowa doesn't have any. But Wisconsin right next door does. Missouri has several. On the Gulf Coast of Florida, they have, and Alabama, they have truckloads. In fact, Vacasa owns whole buildings with condos in it.
Wow.
And the way it's priced is, I said transferred my points over to cottages.com or Vacasa. Technically, you don't transfer them. You just call Wyndham and they book it for you over the phone. So like you would go to the Vacasa website, find the place you want, and there are some parameters. I can get into that if you want. And then once you've identified what you want and make sure it's available, you just call them and say, can I use my points to book? It's 15,000 points per bedroom per night. If you have any of the Wyndham credit cards, you get a 10% discount. So functionally, it becomes 13,500 per bedroom per night.
Wow, that's pretty cool. And those stays were nice. Is it like a community of log cabins or just one?
No, the one I got was like out all by itself. Like
wow,
totally just us. You know, they have like a keypad on the door with an electronic code you type in to let you in.
Interesting.
Just like an Airbnb.
Yeah. Wow. And
Now
Fillmore
they
says
have some that are more like condominiums, but I haven't used any of those.
Got it. Yeah, Fillmore says he's looking at Vacasa for Pigeon Forge, which I noticed on Airbnb, some Pigeon Forge log cabins. So that would be something I might want to get into as well. And Artie's opinion said, was the business owner application process difficult?
For me, it was not. I applied as a sole proprietor and it was very easy. I got instantly approved. Now, since I applied, I've seen other data points saying they've gotten a little stricter. Like it might not get instantly approved. They might want to call and do an income verification or something. I think it's easier as a sole proprietor. I've actually heard if you apply as an LLC or a partnership or something, like then they want to see all your paperwork. Whereas if you're a sole prop, they might just want to ask you a few questions.
Yeah. That seems to be kind of universal itself. So I think that's a good tip. That's interesting. I might even try to apply for it. Who knows? Do they have a referral? No, they don't, right?
They do not. No. I have seen some data points that every now and then there's some targeted referrals emailed out to people, but I've never got one.
Gotcha.
And then I said I wouldn't get into all the details, but I'll mention this just because I feel like I'd be doing a disservice if I didn't. So there's not an official published policy on like a top end price that you can get. But for a long time, people thought it was around $500 per bedroom per night. So like if you're trying to book a place that was more than $500 per bedroom per night, it would usually fail. They lowered that to about $350 per night. So you can still get a lot of value and easily get that 1.25, 1.75 cents per point. But it's less likely that you're going to get the majorly outsized value of 4 or 5 cents per point.
Got it.
Whether or not that applies to the cottages in England and Wales, because that's a whole different partnership, although it works exactly the same, I don't know that part.